Hey everyone, Joe Waxman here. And in this video, I wanted to do a quick update on the current astrology and the upcoming astrology, as well as a brief overview of Sun conjunct Pluto. Somebody asked me to make this video, so I'm going to do a brief overview of that. None of this is going to be very detailed, just because I don't have the wherewithal to really deep dive. Plus, I got a lot of other things going on, but I did want to put out a video, so it is what it is. I'm gonna share my screen. All right, let's just look at current transits right now. Sun just entered Cancer, was in Gemini. Mercury's still in Gemini. Let's see what we got going on here. Moon's in Leo. We got a Leo Trinity. I mean, people love to say stellium. I don't know what I don't really care. It doesn't matter whether it's a stellium or not. I just think it's funny, and I just thought I'd mention that. Like when you go on astrology forums and they're like, I have a stellium. Like you have a bunch of planets, maybe some are asteroids. Like who cares if it's a stellium or not? It is what it is. Right. So anyway, don't worry about the word stellium, even though I use it sometimes. It's not whether it's a stellium or not a stellium. It makes no bit of difference, right? It is what it's like. 3 planets, 4 planets, 3 planets in an asteroid, 3 planets and a point, whatever. Anyway, we got 3 planets in Leo, so there's a lot of Leo energy going on. Sun, Mars, Moon. A lot of heat and passion here. Mars and excuse me. Moon's a very quick transiting planet, so I don't really pay too much attention to it because it's not like it's really staying there long enough to really do anything very fixed. It's really mostly when it's like new moon or eclipse that it's meaningful. But in general, Mars conjunct Moon is a heightened passion kind of time where, because Mars is very aggressive, Moon's very sensitive, so you want to be a little bit careful right now if we're just talking about details. Let's see. The Sun is in conjunct Pluto, and that is kind of an issue. And we're going to be talking about Sun and Pluto. So Sun in conjunct Pluto will indicate a power struggle, mostly because in conjuncts relate to sort of a seesaw kind of relationship where one is, there's constant struggle for domination. You know, it's not like oppositions where it's like both are equal. In an inconjunct, you have an unequal relationship, right? It's sort of like the 6th house and 8th house to Aries, Virgo, Scorpio, and there can be a lot of fighting and tension for power and struggle. One side plays the dominant role, while the other side plays the inferior role, and then it reverses. I mean, and who's going to come out on top with Sun and Pluto? Difficult to know, difficult to say. It's going to seesaw. So whenever you see an inconjunct, realize that it's a seesaw between these planets, you know, trying to, you know, one dominating the other. And even if it's an imbalanced relationship, like a very strong planet, a very weak planet, like Mars or Saturn or Pluto or Sun versus, you know, Moon or Venus or Neptune or something like that. Even the strong planets have to take periodic breaks, and that's where the other planet can dominate, even if it is a more gentle, feminine type planet. So it's still a seesaw no matter what. In any case, Pluto just moved back into Capricorn, and so we had a nice break where Pluto was in Aquarius. I think we all felt that, where things started to feel almost like they were coming back to normal. Not quite, but maybe not normal, but okay. Things were feeling okay, and I think a lot of the struggles that we've really been noticing are a result of Pluto in Capricorn. Not only, but largely with the lockdowns, with the domination, the control, the tyranny, the you know, government overreach, the power struggles. So look for a lot of that to rear its ugly head, to try and resurrect itself once more while Pluto is in Capricorn. And it's not going to be fully in Aquarius until 2025. So don't hold your breath, because you'll pass out before 2025. But in any case, yeah, there will be, if I don't know how conspiratorial minded you are, maybe some of you are, maybe some of you aren't, but however, regardless, I think that there will be more power struggles with Pluto in Capricorn, from government leaders, the law, things like that, and they're going to try and reestablish a sort of authoritarian domination over the people. Yeah. Especially this could happen now because anytime around now there could be issues with Sun versus Pluto. And let's see, mundane astrology is never been like, I haven't done, I'm learning through experience, but in any case, let's see, Sun versus Pluto. Yeah, I mean, there could be some like issues with famous people, with death or sort of betrayals, power struggles, people being thrown into the bus. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out. But just know that that's a challenging aspect for everyone. And Sun doesn't have tremendous dignity in Cancer. It's not terrible, but this is a difficult aspect, and it could relate to family issues. Sun bringing out the Cancerian archetype. In any case, no need to dwell too much on that. Mars is square Mercury, so things could be. I'm sorry. This is Uranus. What am I talking about? Mars is square Uranus, and that could be explosive or accidental. Let's see what else. North Node, Jupiter, that's moving away. That already conjuncted, but North Node is really why I wanted to do this, is because North Node is about to move into Aries. So let's look at that. And it's going to square Pluto. So that is a really intense. At the same time, Sun is moving opposite to Pluto. So Pluto is really getting hit here. And this is July. So around July, with North Node in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn, and it being the start of the retrograde season with the outer planets, Pluto retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron will go retrograde, Jupiter and Uranus will also go retrograde as we move into the fall season. This is going to be a more tricky time worldwide. A lot more tensions, argumentation, fighting. Could see escalations in Russia, Ukraine, things like that. Okay. I didn't want to dwell too much on that, but I just want to point out from now through the summer and early fall, things could be get heated on the world stage, especially with the North Node moving into Aries. That's going to be an area of hunger and growth. Aries, war, aggression. All right, and Mars is moving into Virgo, and actually it's opposite Saturn, and that's also going to be quite aggressive. Mars in Virgo is it's no nonsense. It's a really working class Mars that really likes to get down to business. Mars in Leo is very showy, where Mars in Virgo is much more nose to the grindstone. Let's get it done, right? Mars in Leo wants to go to the gym and show off its muscles. Mars in Virgo wants to actually do stuff that's productive, right, and work hard at it. But we're gonna have a difficult, I don't know how difficult, but it'll be challenging. There could be some challenging stuff on the world stage. Pluto will have a huge influence on the world stage because it's so stable, so slow. It's an outer planet, so it's like really leaving its mark. Whereas opposite Moon, it's just like, yeah, Moon making aspects. That's why I don't really do that much with Moon, because it's like it's so fleeting. A lot of astrologers will be like, "Oh, this new moon, watch out for blah 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 blah," and I'm just like, it's like, how relevant? It's not relevant. It's like, who cares? It's every day is something. I mean, it's just I don't do that. It's not worth it. It's like picking up pennies on the street. Yeah, you can pick up pennies on the street, but it's not, you know, it's not worth talking about. And neither is like the moon phases in general, you know. In somebody's personal astrology chart where it's very specific, yeah, that matters. But in mundane astrology, where it's changing so fast, the fast moving planets, they don't really mean that much. In any case, oh shoot, sorry, going the wrong thing. Here we go. Okay, Sun conjunct Pluto. What is Sun conjunct Pluto? And I probably should have made these two separate videos, but I didn't feel like making two videos. What can I say? I'm Sun conjunct Venus myself, so I'm a little bit lazy at certain things. The irony is that I'm not lazy at a lot of things. Like my Mars is pretty super powered, so I tend to be very physical, but in other ways I'm quite lazy. In any case, Sun conjunct Pluto. What is Sun? So Sun is our Sun. Believe it or not, this may sound really strange, but Sun has a relationship to the Sun. And what I mean by that is that people mistakenly think that the Sun is the most influential, and in some ways it is. It's not mistakenly really planet. Well, it's not really a planet, but planet, celestial body in our chart. But the Sun is the biggest. It is the biggest by far, and so it does have the kingly role. But from a subjective perspective, the Sun is only above ground for half the day, right? In our lived experience. So how does that relate to our Sun sign? Well, therefore, our Sun sign is something that really is not as personal as it is large and dominating, right? The Sun rules the day; it doesn't rule the night. The Moon rules the night, and the Moon is kind of flaky. It's not very dependable. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. Sometimes it's half there or quarter there or just a sliver there, right? The only really dependable out of the big three, out of any of them, is the ascendant. The ascendant is always there because we're always on the earth, right? Whether it's the middle of the night or middle of the day or any time in between, we're always on the earth. Unless we're flying, but we're still within an atmosphere. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's like the earth is constant, and that's what the ascendant represents. So I'm trying to put it in perspective to give you a better idea of what the Sun is. So the Sun is the biggest and most like kingly aspect of our persona, but it is only there half the time. So in essence, it is not that personal. It's like, Michael Jackson could play in an arena with hundreds of thousands of people, right? But then he goes home and he's alone or nearly alone, and he's just a regular person. That's what's constant. The Sun is more like his Michael Jackson as like a celebrity. The comparatively to the ascendant or the moon sign, that's gonna, well, not the moon, but this, especially the ascendant, that's gonna be the constant thing that he's feeling. He's a nobody at home in bed alone, he's just the same. He's exactly the same as you or me. So that's the difference. So the Sun relates to our worldliness. The Sun relates to our ability to relate to people in a worldly setting, or most of our relationships. Everything that we're doing when the Sun is out, you could say, relates to our Sun sign. Yeah, we can translate that into nighttime. It's not like we turn off our Sun sign when the sun goes down. We don't. But it is a very worldly daytime kind of relationship, the Sun. Okay? How we show up in the world, what we're known for, all of that's our Sun sign. Me relating to you right now, that's my Sun sign. That's my Sun conjunct Venus in Gemini, 8th house, blah, blah, blah. Right? The ascendant is there, the moon sign is there, but the moon is waxing, waning. It's kind of flaky, emotional. The ascendant is the real constant, right? I'm not the same as I am on video. On video relating to the world, I'm being very Geminian, right? But with a Scorpio ascendant. But sometimes I'm not being Gemini. I'm just being Scorpio, because the Earth, the ascendant, is always constant, if that makes sense. So the subjective sun sign is not always there. It's only there in relationship to worldliness. Okay, so that's sun. It's worldliness, our relationship to the world. Okay. What is Pluto? Pluto is the farthest out planet. It is nowhere near the size of the sun, but it's still quite powerful. We've made it powerful with our associations, right? With our attention. A lot of astrology is just cumulative psychic umbrella effect, right? I talked about that before. But in any case, Pluto represents one half of the sign of Scorpio, you could say. It is the psychology, it's very mental, Pluto, because it is not a physical planet. The physical planets would be the ones closer, like Venus and Mars, Jupiter. Mercury tends to be more intellectual, but even Saturn has some physicality to it. After that, you get much more spiritual, energetic, intellectual. Pluto being very far out, one half of Scorpio. It's not at all like Mars, where Mars is like the physicality, the aggression, the actual act of, like, fighting or having sex, or like physical muscle doing stuff. Pluto is very psychological. Pluto is deep thinking and penetrating. Pluto wants to mastermind the situation and strategize. So Pluto is very prominent in war generals, strategists, chess players, psychologists, therapists, scientists, researchers. It's the very deep thinkers, astrologers, insightful people, psychics, intuitives, people who are, the association of Pluto is with Hades. So what is Hades in real life? What is Hades? Hades is our shadow realm. Hades is our subconscious, where we're hiding our karma, right? There's no hell for our Buddha. There's no hell for our Christ, because they've cleaned out their own hell, their own personal hell. They've gotten rid of it. So there's nothing dragging them down, right? We drag our hell with us. And there are those who are in touch with their own hell, and those who are not in touch with their own hell. You think of like a Ned Flanders on The Simpsons. And of course he's just a cartoon, but that's a representation of somebody who's not in touch with their Pluto, who's not in touch with their Hades. Another interesting example, which somebody online just pointed or made me think about this, was Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston started out very innocent, right? Very pure, very innocent, with an amazing, powerful voice, churchgoer. And her secondary progressions progressed throughout her life, her sun and her Venus passed Pluto, right? So she gained an awareness of her dark side, right? Her shadow realm. And that's the difference. It wasn't like it's not like it got worse. It's not like she got worse. She did in a sense, but it's not like it wasn't there, that darkness. It was there, but it was unconscious. It was hidden to her. And she became aware of it. And she said, oh, geez, I have this, penchant for drugs and alcohol, like I love this stuff, and now I have to fight it with it because it's going to destroy me if I, so that's really the battle of Scorpio, right? That's where the Plutonic influence, or the 8th house, wherever Pluto is. So if you have Sun conjunct Pluto, your worldliness is going to bring in this Plutonic element, your relationship to the world, your personality, right? Look at Michael Jackson as a prime example. He's number 1 on the list. These are all the people with Sun conjunct Pluto. That we can see a tight conjunction in Virgo of 4 degrees, Sun and Pluto. And we know Michael Jackson. We know about how controversial he was, how powerful he was. He wrote Bad, right? The song Bad. You know what, Bad? Thriller. Like a lot of his music reveals this smooth criminal, like this being in touch with the darkness of Pluto. Very deep, very penetrating, very powerful. Pluto is going to bring all of these things to the table, to your worldliness, to how you show up in the world, right? Pluto is going to make you in touch, bring you in touch with your darkness, with your shadow self. So a lot of these Sun conjunct Plutos, very penetrating, deep thinking, but also going to have a scorpionic edge. They can be dark, they can be aggressive, they can be powerful. Sexual, yeah, but not like Mars, right? It's not the sexuality of Mars. It's more like the it's a deeper, more it's a psychological sexiness, I guess you could say. More power, right? Control, domination, psychology, masterminding, strategy, right? These people are very intense, very obsessive, can work extremely hard at their craft, and really make waves. Kim K, she's not even famous for anything. She's famous for being a rich, for being like rich family, made a sex tape, and now she's like, what is she's done nothing. She married Kanye West, and okay, Keanu Reeves, right? Vastly more respectable. But I mean, but Kim K, by the way, just strategy, excellent. I mean, talk about like, how do you get famous for not being for nothing? Like, okay, she figured it out. Excellent strat. That's Pluto, right? Keanu Reeves. What kind of roles does he play? Dark, mysterious, powerful. People love him. He's excellent, and he's very Virgo-ish, but very Plutonic as well, right? The Matrix, and what was the other one? Where he plays like John Wick, right? People love him. People are obsessed with Keanu Reeves. That's the other thing. Pluto creates that kind of obsessiveness. Pluto natives can be very obsessive themselves, but people are obsessed with them. That's part of that scorpionic allure, right? Very attractive, very powerful persona, potentially destructive, but also brings in a lot of depth and darkness as well. Like Keanu Reeves' life, he has a very sad story, and like, I'm just terrible with details, but like, he lost his child and his wife and stuff like that. Katy Perry, she seems kind of superficial, but if you look at her chart, Sun conjunct Scorpio, Sun conjunct Pluto and Scorpio, so I mean, definitely pretty intense, powerful. I don't like her music, but she's definitely made a name for herself. Drake, another one in Scorpio, 7 degrees, very strong performer, powerful. Catherine Zeta-Jones. I'm gonna move through some of the Governator in Leo. Of course, these are only going to be in certain signs. We're going to get Cancer for the really old people, then Leo for the boomers, then Virgo for the 60s, then Libra for the Gen X, and then Scorpio for the millennials, and then Sag. I don't even know. Probably there's probably some Capricorn who are already famous, but it's going to be limited. Obviously Schwarzenegger, extremely powerful. And that Pluto helps a lot with the obsessive quality, right? Wanting to be, the Mr. America or whatever it was, Olympian, I don't know. He was a bodybuilder before he was, and then he became an actor, and then he became the Governator, right? Definitely like a lot of power and control issues with Pluto conjunct Sun. Kate Winslet, Mick Jagger, another one in Leo. The pride and ego is huge with these type. And again, we don't know them on a personal level. Like, we're only seeing their stage presence, and that is very much having to do with the sun. And so you're going to see a lot of power, but we don't see also how obsessive they are, how intense they are, as a person relating to the world, right? Like we only see their stage presence, which is sort of a facade, right? Emma Stone, Francois Holland, Gwyneth Paltrow, Libra. So this is a Gen Xer one. With the Libra, it's gonna be a bit more muted. It's gonna be soft, but Libra and Pluto, like I hear a lot of people downplaying the Pluto and Libra generation. Just a few words. I already talked about it, but yeah, Pluto is not as strong in Libra, but Libra is very strong in its ability to navigate in the world. I mean, it's unparalleled because Libra is the sign of people, right? Libra is the sign of people. So these Pluto and Libra are they can fool you into thinking that they're just extremely easygoing and whatnot. But meanwhile, they're getting the better deal because Libra is the sign of negotiation. So watch out for Pluto and Libra. They'll definitely swindle you under the table by making you feel like you have the upper hand. Meanwhile, they're masterfully manipulating you. Haley Baldwin, I don't know who she is. Okay, Jada Pinkett Smith. I don't know. Charlie Sheen, he's a great example. The destructiveness of Pluto, right? Look at that smile. I mean, he has a Sag moon, so he's definitely wild. Right, this is fake. I don't know why they include this. Like nobody knows the birthdays. It's just nonsense. Patrick Swayze died of cancer, but he's a great example of Sun conjunct Pluto and Leo. It's just a very powerful, really dynamic quality. Chopin, Pisces. I think it was so Tim Burton. Tim Burton films, I think. I'm sounding stupid. Let's see. A lot of these I don't know. John Krasinski is great, another Xer. Gen Xer. He really is powerful. Like he comes off like, we think of him as like this sort of like lightweight, easygoing, Jim from The Office. But then he plays these amazingly powerful roles, and he's very convincing. And that's where the Pluto really comes in. It's that Libra dichotomy. Libra is so like nice and easygoing and fair and balanced and peaceful, and then Pluto is like, brr. So it's quite an interesting dynamic there. Alicia Silverstone. I mean, unfortunately, I mean, she was good, but then she became so obsessed with veganism, which really kind of, I think, weakened her because I know I've been harsh on vegans because it's mostly because I care. And veganism leaves you with malnutrition. It does, pretty much always. Lance Armstrong, he's another great example because of the desire, the passion, and the strategy, and also the darkness. He was doping to win these races, and he was lying about it, and that's very Plutonic. Not that Pluto is necessarily a liar, but that it's not beyond lying either to get what it wants because it's so desirous for power and control and to be top at their game. I mean, he also has South Node conjunct Saturn, so that, I mean, there's other factors. There's always going to be other factors. Martha Stewart went to jail. Is friends with Snoop Dogg, and that's that Pluto influence. Really in touch with the darkness, psychological, not beyond criminality for sure. Definitely wants what they want. Nick Cannon, he's got like tons of kids and stuff. Let's see who else. So Mystic Meg, I think I came across her. She's like a psychic or whatever. But yeah, Pluto, Sun, definitely good for any occult type stuff or like astrology even. Okay, Manhattan, that definitely makes sense. Sun conjunct Pluto in Taurus. That's quite interesting. I do think it is interesting when a city or state or country is born. You can look at the astrology and find out a lot about it. Definitely, Sun conjunct Pluto is making it one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful city in the world, right? And in Taurus, luxury, materialism, money, wealth, all that, right? I didn't pull up any charts, but you can go to number one. Let's look at Michael Jackson. Why not? So I probably have his chart on my software, but we're just gonna look at it here. He's got a really strong Sun conjunct Pluto, pretty close to the descendant, which is great for. It's not great for relationships, but it is great for stage presence and for worldly connections. The seventh house really lights up whenever there's other people there. So he really needs other people. All kinds of relationships, whether it's a large, arena crowd, or just a few people that he's working with. That's definitely going to, he definitely needs that in order to shine his light. And then Pluto is very powerful, very controlling, especially in the seventh house. Pluto in the seventh house loves to control and manipulate other people. There was a lot of controversy surrounding Michael Jackson. We know that, right? Especially with around children, and then Moon is ruling his fifth house. It's in the first, right? So children are coming to him. That's interesting, yeah. I don't mean to, do a whole big thing on Michael Jackson, but yeah, he does have Saturn exactly conjunct the MC. It's in Sag, and so that's interesting. I wonder what would have it. Let's see, Saturn is ruling 11th and 12th house, so creativity, career success. That's interesting. And it has a trine to Venus and Mercury and Uranus. The trine to Venus is probably the best one because Venus rules Libra, which is the Saturn's sign of exaltation. Jupiter is ruling the 10th in the it's the eighth house cusp, according to this. So eighth. Interesting. Definitely a lot of secrecy and depth and power and control, and with this Jupiter ruling the MC in the eighth. That's what I have, and for me it translates into astrology. Obviously didn't for Michael Jackson, but he was definitely into some secret stuff. He was very aware of it too, and he talked about it. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah, so that's pretty much Sun conjunct Pluto. Not sure if it's worth it to keep looking at pulling up different people's charts. We can look at Keanu Reeves because he's interesting. Well, he's got a whole stellium in Virgo, so it's not just Pluto. It's Sun, Mercury. Mercury is exalted. Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and Ascendant all in Virgo. So he's extremely Virgo-ish, but as well as Plutonic, and he can just play all kinds of roles, right? And then he's got his North Node in Gemini in the 10th house. So, I mean, definitely that shows an increasing career on the rise, which he is. But definitely very powerful. Virgo Virgo is probably a good one for Pluto because Pluto is so obsessive, and it wants power and control, and like, so that's one of the things about the boomer generation is that they got this very powerful Pluto in Leo, but it's very egotistical, so much pride and ego, that is greatly diminished with Pluto and Virgo. Pluto and Virgo, you do not have the pride and ego of the boomer generation, nor do you have it in Pluto and Libra. Pluto and Scorpio, again, you're having a lot of narcissism, power, control. Both Virgo and Libra are going to mute those more extreme sides of Pluto to some extent, but they're going to be accentuated with Pluto in Leo, Pluto in Scorpio. Pluto in Aquarius should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to it a lot. I know I'm running on a tangent here, so I'll just save that for another time. But I think it should be interesting, and it should be quite powerful as well if we look at how the different Pluto and sign generations work. I mean, I like Pluto and Virgo a lot because of the subdued power that because Pluto can be so power hungry, right? And Virgo is service oriented. Leo really inflates that power hungriness. So does Scorpio. Aquarius probably will as well, but Aquarius is very intellectual and very socially oriented, so it'll be different. You'll have some definitely some egos that want to, because the thing about Aquarius is that there is a tendency towards God complex with Aquarius. So God complex. So with the Pluto's power and control obsession with God complex will create some egos that are just like out of control. Like they just want to, we're already seeing that with people who think they are gods. The Noah Yuval Harari and the Klaus Schwab types and Bill Gates and all these power hungry idiots will just be emboldened in many ways with Pluto and Aquarius, but there's going to be many other factors that will balance that out. But we'll see these really power hungry egos becoming empowered with Pluto and Aquarius. They're going to really believe that they're gods. And then when people are born with Pluto and Aquarius, that's also going to be an issue. We're going to see some major egos being born at that time, especially Sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Huge egos that are power hungry and will stop at nothing to get what they want. Drugs, lies, crime, you name it, all sorts of everything in between. And because it's Aquarius, transhumanism will be a huge source of Aquarian, Pluto and Aquarius power for people who are influenced by that. They'll put implants and chips in their brain and their body and think that they're gods because they're hooked up to the internet or whatever. All right, guys, I think that's enough. Yeah, I mean, generally I don't generally I don't need to take too many notes because I'm a Gemini and I just start talking and I just keep going, and that's the way it goes. Yeah, there we go. Just getting. So on some other news, I'm writing a book on Scorpio, and it is I don't know if it's halfway done, but I'm on chapter 5 and it's going really well. And let's see. I have to embrace this and be forthcoming about this. I am kind of a lazy writer, meaning that I'm using ChatGPT to write it. And so some people might take offense to that and think that this is cheap and inauthentic. All the ideas in it are mine. I go through everything. I make sure it's representing my ideas. I have to tell it what to write. but it's more like I'm the CEO, I'm the executive in charge, I'm the director, the editor, the producer, the conductor. No, I'm not actually doing most of the writing. I do some of the writing, but I'm the one who's looking at the big picture and putting my name on it. So, and I do have Uranus conjunct the ascendant, which means I am very futuristic. And I know this is inevitable. Right now, a lot of people will object to AI and think that, that it's a hack and it's, you shouldn't use it. But these are people who don't understand progress and don't understand the way things will be. Eventually, it's going to be ubiquitous. I mean, it's like, cell phone. Like if like when cell phones first came out, and you're like, who needs a cell phone? I'm just gonna stick with my landline. We don't need this crazy new technology with the wireless and the satellites, and there you can come up with all kinds of excuses for that. Where are those people now? Are they still sticking to their poorly corded landline? I don't think so. Most of them not. They just quietly accept it after a while, and that's the same with AI. Eventually it's just going to be so commonplace because you're not going to put this genie back in the bottle, and it's just going to be another tool to use in people's toolbox to create, right? That's what it is. That's all it is. It's a tool, right? It's like walking versus riding a bike, or walking versus driving a car, or walking versus flying a plane. Walking, driving a bike, riding a bike, driving a car, riding a plane, these are all going to get you there faster than walking. But these are all technological advances, and they don't go away. Once we invent them, we use them. And so, ChatGPT, AI will be a just unquestioned way of writing books in the future. It's not going to take away people writing by hand, just like people still walk, right? Even though we have extremely fast planes, people still walk amazingly, right? But we see that they're different, right? And so AI, ChatGPT, it's just going to be another format for expressing yourself. And I'm a Gemini, so I like to communicate. And I'm kind of a lazy Gemini, being my Sun and Venus are conjunct. That is a sign of laziness. Not total laziness, because there's many other factors. Like I said, like you can see, like I work out, I got muscles. I mean, I walk a lot, I ride my bike, I do resistance training. But there's one factor that I don't like to write much. I do like to write, but I like to write informally. I don't like to write books where I have to but I do have to. So anyway, there's a format that suits me. That's all. But it is my ideas. So I'm writing a book, and that's going to happen. It's on Scorpio, so it should be pretty cool. And I'm confident in my understanding, and I'm putting out good material. So, and I'm a little bit ahead of the curve with the ChatGPT. I mean, a lot of people are into it. Most people are not. Anyway, it is what it is. So that's that. And I will see you guys again soon. And that's the reason, one more thing, last thing, I guess. That's the reason I haven't been making a lot of videos. I've been concentrating my energy and time and focus onto book writing. So plus I have to work for money outside. Anyway, all right, that's it for now. I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks, bye.